Hey, we're back again, guys. Yeah, we've actually got some skip rolling in here, guys. All right, so we are back again, and we're actually going to finish up the 148. We've got all the modifications done, but we've got to do a couple more little things that the customer had asked for. So what we are going to do is actually pull the screws out of the finals. He actually wanted me to go ahead and pull those apart and add, clean and put fresh dielectric grease or heatsink compound in behind there. Mr. Nobody. Hello, Kevin. What's going on? It's been a while since I've seen or heard from you. Yeah, we've got some skip rolling in right now on 28, Deer Slayer. So we got the 1x2. We've got it all put back together. We've got to box it up and wrap it and do all that good stuff. But yeah, we're going to go on to the next project, and we'll come back this afternoon when I get this one done. Call both of the customers and get all that stuff squared away. Kevin, how are you doing, buddy? It's been a while. I'll see if we can't get you guys a little more in depth here with what we're doing. All right, so we're going to gently pull the finals back away from the back wall just a little bit. It's kind of nice because this one actually has the ceramic plates back behind there for for heat dissipation. Doesn't even look like there's any grease on there. Focus. Yeah, I like this camera, but I hate it all at the same time. All right. You're missing me in the evening times, huh? Well, I guess you'll have to stay up late. Speaking of which, since we are on the weekend, we've had some, like I said, we've had some major things go on here over the last month, and especially the last week or so. And that's one of the other things too that I want to talk to you guys about. All right, so where I've had some of this work that has come in that is just so incredibly slow, and I mean incredibly slow work. Um, it all needs to be done, but there again, it's just been incredibly slow. Uh, I actually had a company offer me a really good position to go back to work, so we're actually going to go ahead and quit doing this full time. This is actually going to be taken back down to a part time after 3 years of being in here. We're actually going to be downsizing to a certain extent, doing this part time. So we're going to be a little more particular as far as going into the rest of this year on what projects we take in. Um, just because of the fact that I'll be putting in, 40 to 45 hours at least a week with this new company. Um, a couple of good things are going to come out of that. One of which is it's going to free me up a little bit more, as far as on the financials, because I'll have more coming in. But that way I'll actually be able to take everything that comes into the shop and finally really be able to start reinvesting back in here and rebuilding a shop in a larger format. So, that's the good thing. Granted, I won't be able to do as much as far as this next year. I won't be able to do as much in here as I would like to do, but it will help as far as on the overall. As far as on the camera, this is actually a Logitech. Last year, it was rated, I think, in the top 5 cameras, webcams, as far as that goes. I like the stand on it better than I do the other one. This one, I think, has a little bit narrower field than the other camera, which is kind of nice because I can actually span out a little bit further and get everything in that I want. So it's kind of nice, kind of as far as on the camera, but at the same time, I don't know if this one works better or the other one. Unfortunately, where I can't just switch, or haven't figured out anyways how to plug both of them in and switch from camera to camera for different angles. I'm just not super tech savvy in relationship to that. So this thing barely had any kind of heat sink compound back behind the transistors. That was something that the customer wanted me to check, so that's where we're at today. Wanted them re-greased, so since we've got these nice little ceramics, it's going to make it a lot nicer to get these in here. Hey, it sounds like the trash guy finally decided to stop and pick up my trash. I can hear the truck outside. He didn't stop by last week and pick up. Okay. And the stuff I've been using the last 2 years, guys, is essentially a generic version of Arctic Silver. So for some of you that are familiar with it, focus, which is some pretty awesome stuff. The only problem is this tube's about $27 a tube. This is the same stuff, or nearly the equivalency anyways of it. This stuff's about $15 for the large tube, so you know, kind of a big difference. Hey Rudy, I'm sure you've seen your video, buddy. Yeah, like I said, we had a little bit of a glitch with it. Not bad, but we've got your 1x2 up and going. Nice smooth sailing. Hopefully you'll be able to enjoy that whenever that comes back. I'll get with you this afternoon. It'd probably be what I would call your lunchtime, my quitting time. But I'll get everything figured up. It's not going to be more than about 30, I think $35 more. But you do have a good MRF 454 that I've got taped to the top of your amplifier that's going to come back to you. I did have to go ahead and change that out. Like I said, I know you don't have much time in the mornings, but yeah, I've got that taped to the top of that, and that'll come back to you as well. It's a good transistor, works awesome. Unfortunately, because of the turn on time and the high saturation that it puts into the one pill, the 454 I just was not able to use in that format. So, you know, I've actually talked to a few of the locals on it earlier before I sit there and shot the video, and that thing is nice and loud. I don't think you're going to have a problem with it. You know, you're just going to have to play with it a little bit. Well, hello, Mr. 3. I see what you're going on, buddy. What's going on? So, like I said, lots of different things going on here in the very, very near future. Like I said, I want to finish up some of these other projects. I've still got a Cobra 2000 over here that I'm going to get back on. I've been on and off of it the last couple of weeks, a little here and a little there, because where it's literally just fought me tooth and nail. We're going to get back on that probably Monday or Tuesday. Monday, I probably won't do a whole lot here in the shop. As I stated, you know, I am getting ready to go back to work at another full-time position, so we're going to see how that all rolls. Yeah, where I've spent the last 3 years here in the shop all day, every day. It's going to be strange working for somebody else for a change. Yeah, I wish I would have showed you, Rudy, since I know you're in there now. Which there again, if you go back and look at the video, you'll see all the ooh, goo, and schmoo that we have pulled out of the old amplifier, rebuilt it. Like I said, pretty wicked little 3-pill that you've got. You know, just don't get crazy and try to put a dual final radio behind it. You know, a Cobra, something equivalency to like Cobra 148, Cobra 29, something like that. That's all that's going to be required. It'll take very, very little drive. Now I put a unique attenuator in there, so you should be okay, because I think you have a level 2 comp tuned radio, so you should be fine using that because of the way I set the attenuator up on the inside. There we go. Yeah, I had this crazy thing all back together, and as soon as I put the last screw in, or started to put the last screw in, I'd remembered that this was something that the customer had asked for, was for me to go back and um, add new compound to everything to make sure that all the parts were able to get cooling the way they needed to. So kind of sucked for me, but I'm just glad that I caught it on the notes going back through before I shot the final video and all that good stuff. Yeah, I figured you'd be doing that, Rudy. Yeah, like I said, you've got you know your biggest thing is you're going to have to run an amp or run a watt meter with a 1x2, just because of the fact that it's very, very difficult on the 1x2s to keep that carrier right where you want it. But like I said, I think once you get it, you're going to like it. I did another one that was very similar, only in a smaller case. I built one very similar to what you've got for a gentleman here locally about a year ago, and he drives it with his Cobra 148, and I mean he talks everywhere in the world he wants to with that thing. Hey Rudy, how close are you to Lee over there? Because I've got something I want to ship over. It's small, but I didn't know how close you were to Lee. I've got a piece that I want to send him. Um, I don't know if he's real close, because of the fact that I know it's small enough I could stick in your box with it. But I didn't know if I sent something with you, if you could get it to Lee or not. The big kahuna over there. Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, like I said, I got a little piece that I want to send out, so I'm going to take off a small portion of your shipping once we get it all figured out. I'll take off a small portion of shipping. I mean, I don't think it weighs more than 2 pounds. If we can just get this other insulator out. Yeah, I've got one more major piece, and then I'm going to get back on his radio and try to get it figured out. Like I said earlier, I'm getting ready to go back to work, so I can actually kind of take a breather on some of this stuff that I have to get done, so that I've got bill money. And that way I can kind of concentrate on some of these others that are just driving me batty. But where your amplifier, it's new. You've got a brand new used amplifier, Rudy. So I think yours is kind of technically the first one. I think yours is kind of technically the first one to hit the islands over there that I've built. Yeah, this one's going to be fun. This one's for the audio chip. Yeah, I think you sent me some coffee a year or so ago, and I've still got one bag left. But that is probably going to be used up a lot here real quick here in the very near future, since I'm going to have to actually get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll start getting up at 4 o'clock. Gee, my Christmas. I'll be getting up when everybody else is going to bed. However, it won't be that way for long. I've just got 2 weeks of training on days, and then I'll be going to nights. Okay. So one of the other things that we did here is this radio, I think, goes to New York, if I remember right. Okay. Something else that he wanted done as well was regulator removed. A little bit better grade put in there. Okay. Thought I was right. Just like to double check. Yeah, it definitely will. Let's get him a new insulator here. I don't know if this one's too long or if I'm going to have to go back with the other style, but yeah, it'll work. Yeah, that fan will be a lot quieter too for you, Rudy. Plus, it'll be nice to have the fan on the inside of the case instead of the outside. I know that doesn't bother some people, but it always did me. Yeah, the radio that I use to tune with is set up much like the one you've got. As far as that Cobra 29, the tune on it's almost identical to what you've got, so that'll kind of give you an idea. I was running that at 14.2 volts when we did the test because I used the same power supply for it that I did for my radio, just because I've got a quick coupler right there. Okay, it should be the last of that. That's all that was left. So one of the other things that I've got up and going too, and it's unfortunately I've been going back and forth on different projects and what have you, trying to get everybody taken care of, and or I'll hit a stopping spot or a block and I'll move on to the next project and then come back and finish one. This one, I've not ran into so many blocks as I have just getting stopped from different other things that's been going on and what have you. That's why this one's not been finished yet. But I've also got a 10 pill. Yeah, it's a 2x8, 10 pill, however you want to call it. Got a few more things that I've got to do to it, and we'll be doing a video on it here, depending on how things go. If we've got a really great day, that may happen yet today. If not, it'll probably be tomorrow. Charles, where in the world have you been? Good God, I haven't seen you in a month of Sundays. Well, actually, I haven't seen you ever, but as far as talking to you, I haven't talked to you forever and a day. I thought maybe you gave up the ghost and decided you weren't going to be a CB'er anymore. Work? You don't work. You show up, you get paid, but you don't work. I gave that up for Lent. Yeah, I gave work up for Lent. If you believe that, I've got a beautiful sandy beach in California for sale right next to the Mojave Desert in Anchorage, Alaska. You got that right, 425. Where are you out of anyways? You're not out of North Carolina, are you? Where's that at? Where is that at? Gastonia? Yeah, Gastonia. I mean, I've had bad gas, but oh, you're going to be to Manchester this year, west of Charlotte. Oh, okay. So Charles is going to Manchester. I don't know if I'll make it or not. It depends on. It depends on that four-letter word, work. Since I'm going to be working for another company, I haven't got any details yet as far as when Manchester is this year. I know it's usually in June. Let's unhook the base. As much as I dislike adapters, they have their place. Well, I am located in South Central Indiana is where I'm located at. About 45 miles north of Louisville, Kentucky. It's always a good sign we've got receive. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Audio. 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 All right. All looks good. All righty. Now let's start with the inside and then I'll flip the radio over. All right, so I know eventually Bigfoot will probably come back and look at this and go through everything. So, all right. So what we've done here today, I went ahead and upgraded the, I didn't do the full Scotty diode, but I did do the first section here with the Scotty diode upgrade. We went ahead and realigned the radio. Went ahead and put the heatsink compound, as you've seen in the first part of the video, guys. So we did that on the transistors here on the back, which was our finals. Over here, as far as that's all been taken care of, so we're good to go there. Upgraded our filter cap and just tested a few things out. Like I said, mainly the alignment. Went ahead and replaced also a couple other electrolytics and capacitors along in the back that typically cause a lot of issues. Let me sit this down. I'm going to grab the little tray, because this is actually what took the most time. Which is right here. So, like I said, we replaced several electrolytics, you know, that are typically known problems in these radios. Some of the diodes, pulled out a couple of different resistors, changed the values on those to go ahead and give it a little bit wider frequency span for the transmit. Some of the diodes, we replaced the LED, but the biggest thing, if you guys can see all this little yellow glue goo crap, yeah, that actually caused some problems. And somewhere, going off the spot, that, believe it or not, is actually a choke, a factory choke that's supposed to be in the radio. The one side is nearly eat completely through from that glue. So again, like I said, we went ahead and, you know, pulled out all that nasty crap that we could get, you know, that was causing issues or could cause issues later down the road. We replaced this little choke. There's a couple of ferrite beads that go on it. It's actually back here in the transmit section. Which is right here. So that's been taken care of and replaced. We cleaned all that goo crap off and away from this little toroid. That way it doesn't eat it up and cause other issues. Same thing here in the PLL section. Did the same thing. This is just holding the cap in place, so it's no big deal. So we left it. Dug down in here because of where it was on this capacitor, and made sure that it wasn't on the legs to where it'll eat the legs off of that. So that was one of the other things we did. Replaced our filter cap here on the PLL chip. Reason why is because this one, for whatever reason, they use a 10-volt cap, which technically is okay, but the system runs at about 8.1 volts. And that capacitor usually always winds up going down in value over the course of several years. So, like I said, we went ahead and just replaced some of the basics. We replaced the meter light inside because he wanted a regular true white versus the crap white that they use. Put a little block up here. Ta-da! Again, this is where I like this camera a little bit better because it actually sits on a little foot a little bit better. All right, so we modified your clarifier for the mild tune. So you're going to go about 2.5 kilohertz each direction as far as on your clarifier. Your RF power is located right here on your SWR calibration. However, when you key it up, you put it over here on calibrate. You'll see that your SWR meter still works. So it has dual function. Basically, what we're doing is using the RF to create the calibration essentially at this point. So you're going to see your RF power still goes up and down. We've got this where it tops out at about 5 watts. That's where I've got it set at on the limitations. So you're going to be able to go from essentially 0 all the way up to 5 watts. But we're going to set this at, see, 10 watt scale. So we're going to set it at 1 watt dead key. We may even go up here on 38 and see if we can get some talk time. Okay, so 25 watt slug in 1x position for our peak, 10 watt slug in average. So just a good mild tune on it. Hello, 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 audio, audio. So we got about 17 watts PEP, RMS. Hello, audio, with about 5 bird swing. Some of these I've seen go up to 6, 7. When we widebanded it so that it can transmit on the upper and lower channels, this is pretty much where it wound up falling into place. So we left well enough alone. Hello, radio, audio, audio. But these things have always sounded awesome. Let's go ahead and look at the frequency counter. That's all the way to the left. And all the way to the right. So that should give you good range for tracking. Frequency count is a little slow. CQ, CQ, CQDX, CQDX, 006, Indiana. Of course, when you want somebody out there, there's never anybody there. All right, so again, like I said, this one's set up essentially old school. So as you can see, we've got the wires here for PLL cut over. You know, very simple. Definitely old school. That's right here on the bright dim and the high-low switch. So I don't know where that's at. 28025. So that's pretty far up there. It should be what, 61? Yeah, 61. All right, so the only other thing that we've got to do that I want to make a double check on, we're going to hook up the signal generator and make sure that our meter is set correctly, since we've done all the other modifications. All right, 425, have a good one, buddy. We'll catch you later. All right, so let's turn that on. We're going to check that. We'll also clean the top of the circuit board and get all the old slimy junk that was on the circuit board off. Set the radio on channel 20. Yeah, I know. Push the wrong button, guys. Great set of ears on. Okay, so I did get that set. That's already an S9. Good. That's set correctly. All right, so that was our last little bit that we needed to test on this. Good to go, guys. All I'm going to do is close up the covers, call it good. All right. Well, Mr. Bigfoot, hopefully you will enjoy this. Like I said, we've got your radio completed. Like I said, we'll put the covers on it. We'll figure up a bill on this one and one for Mr. Rudy over in Hawaii. So we got from one end of the spectrum to the other. We've got like I said, I believe he's in New York. Rudy was in Hawaii. So pretty good span difference between these two. All right, guys. Again, if you're looking to get a hold of us, there's the shop number. Just give me a call, or you can even text me at that number. Hopefully you guys enjoyed a little bit of video here with the 148, and also earlier on the 1x2. Like I said, I think Rudy's going to really enjoy that when he gets it back over there in the islands. But folks, I appreciate you popping in for another visit. We'll get out of here. We'll go to the next one as soon as we get these two done. And I'll probably go ahead and start on that 10 pill that I've got. Most of it's done. Just got a few little things to finish up on it. So we'll get these taken care of, get these guys called, everything packaged up. And we may come back in later on this afternoon with another video. So, all right, everybody. I appreciate it. Welcome to the weekend. Take care and God bless.